Welcome back, disc golf fans, to Myrtle Beach as Gatekeeper presents the Myrtle Beach Open Driven by Innova Discs. We have moved courses today over to Socastee Recreational Park. Kind of a different feel out here in the woods. Want to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors, supporters. Special shout out to the Patreon. I am Nathan Queen, again joined by Nick Hanson.
Hello, disc golfers. We've got a beautiful day here in South Carolina for you to enjoy. And here's a look at our card today. Isaac Robinson, Luke Samson, Joel Freeman, and Dan Hastings.
Yeah, all getting off to the hot rounds yesterday, leading the way, but we've got, as you see here, a lot of players just one more stroke back at 8 down. Trevor Harbault and lefty Austin Turner up there. Jake Mon and Dylan Seppala, some younger players out here.
Yeah, Isaac Robinson, our starter here, sponsored by Prodigy, a young up-and-comer this year who's placed very well at quite a few of the Pro Tour events. You're going to see him putting the PA3, throwing the FX2, and going to see some good power shots out of him.
Yeah, speaking of power, Luke Samson has lots of power, even left-handed, if you didn't know. Gonna see that Rico X out of him, lots of yarn, and then may see some of that recoil on the open holes.
Up next, we have Joel Freeman, sponsored by Innova. Joel is going to be throwing the Whale and the Gator a bunch. Got a couple wins this year already, so I would see Joel try to continue what he did yesterday and probably be in that 8 down range.
And then Dan Hastings, a player out of North Carolina now, putts with the Adam Hammis Focus. Gonna see a lot of soft zone, maybe some buzz, and then he leans on those Raptors a lot for his forehands.
All right, here we are at hole 1. It's a par 3, 301 feet through the woods. This gap about 3/4 of the way down the fairway is the main gap you need to hit to hopefully get up inside the circle. Tough hole to start.
Yeah, once you hit that gap 3/4 of the way, it's kind of up in the air. If you go inside of the one tree you see in the middle, you have the best opportunity to hit the line towards the pin, but it is the tightest gap up there. Just to the right of that tree is what I was talking about. A very nervy tee shot. Usually you don't have this tight of a gap to start the round. Not necessarily a long hole, but I think 3, you're pretty satisfied to get started.
I'm happy with the 3 personally on this hole, as like you said, it's very tight off the gate, out of the gate, and we just really want to get it off this hole more than anything.
Oh, and just a tad inside. Terrible kickoff to the left. He's going to have a rough time scrambling from in there. We saw Joel drive very well yesterday. See if he's able to carry that into hole 1 here.
I would say today we're going to see a lot of kicks, just as these fairways are much tighter than yesterday's.
Definitely. And Dinosaur Dan here is one to lean on the forehands. And almost gets that line, but made the opposite mistake of the other players, so he's going to have a different type of scramble from the right side.
And as you can see, once you get through that gap, it's not very long. Isaac jump putting to under the basket.
That was a sweet standstill sidearm from Joel. Not a lot of lines over there, and he made it look like he hit a pretty open line.
Luke finessing a sidearm out there. As you can see, once you get off the fairway, it's pretty tight. Gaps get even smaller.
All right, see if we can get that first big putt of the day in on hole 1. Oh, just a bit soft. Luke's going to start off a bit slow on this one, carding the bogey. As is Joel, who just tried to putt through that tree rather than straddle.
Interesting choice there, but
Yeah, I'd like to have a different angle to see what he was actually dealing with, but that's a strange... Seems like he could have got around there.
tough starting hole here.
Yeah, only 5 birdies, actually.
Oh, wow. All right, and here's hole 2, 249 feet. This is going to be a must-get for our players here on the card. The fence on the right side is OB, so really just hanging it over top of that and then letting it crash back in.
Yeah, tough start, but like I said, if you can get away with that par on hole 1, then you have the easiest hole on the course right here in hole 2. He's going to have an interesting putt there. He is inside the circle, but not going to be clean. Little inside, still going to be inside the circle, much cleaner putt.
The last 2 players are taking a much more inside route, it seems, whereas I feel like getting it over the fence and then letting it skip one time before it hits the woods is the best way to get in there. Joel's just going to be a little short. Not bad, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure with as short as the hole is and narrow as the fairway is that you really need to throw it all that high on this one. I think a lower shot's going to be easier to control what you want to do. Once you get the nose up trying to take so much off of your disc, it makes it a little more difficult to get that touch shot.
I agree there, and we got Isaac tapping in his first birdie of the round. Oh, wow. The straight back spit out off the pole.
I had some water in my mouth. I almost spit it out there.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, especially after that bogey on hole 1. Definitely needed that to bounce back. That's going to be a tough mindset to bounce back from.
Yeah, what do you do when you have things like this happen early in a round? Like, what's your mindset, or how do you...
You just have to do your best to forget about it. If you keep thinking about it, then it's going to affect your putt. And you just have to do your best to not remember it, you know. Until after the round, then you can talk about it to your buddies and whatnot, but shut it out until you're done playing. Straight into hole 3. 294-foot par 3 with a much more specific line than the last. Forehand soft flex or maybe stand up to hyzer is going to be the best play. This is a very tight backhand gap he's going for. But of course, he's that Georgia boy that knows how to hit these tight lines. He's going to do it anyway.
So great. I don't think we'll actually see him throw the sidearm much.
No, I don't think he really does that at all. And close there from Joel, just a little bit too much push to the left.
And Dan just never getting that disc to flat. He's going to wind up short inside there. Probably about circle 2, though, still.
I like the idea from Luke there, staying as far right on the tee pad. It really opens up the gap to get that flex. He just didn't quite get enough flex on his disc there.
Joel with a good upshot there. Probably his P1X. This course punishes you for being off just a little bit, so much more than Splinter City. You'll be halfway down the fairway scrambling for a 3, whereas at Splinter you could be a little off and still, you know, get up to circle 2 or even inside the circle sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that. As you see Isaac able to capitalize On his great backhand drive, all the other players chose to throw that forehand. Didn't quite get through. We're gonna see 1 birdie and 3 pars. This hole's right around the middle of the pack as far as difficulty, average at a 2.78.
All right, we're going to roll into hole number 4. It's a 459-foot par 4. Players are going to try to flip up through this main gap here. If you do get a good shot through the gap, you can get all the way up into the circle for an eagle. But really, a hole you want to get your birdie 3 on.
It's also a hole that can easily bite you, though, as you see how tight the gap is. If you kick off to that left side, it's pretty brutal over there. Kick off to the right, you're usually okay. There's kind of a secondary fairway, but if you get too far, you could end up OB. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, hitting that early and kicking down left, it's going to be a struggle. He's probably still got 250 feet or so to go.
So close to being, that looked like it was probably going to go long of the pin, actually.
Yeah, this shot needs to be basically perfect to get up inside the circle with the gap that's available. All the players have the power in the distance, but...
Yeah, you see Luke there. A little frustrated, understandably, but he's also very good at calming himself down, as you saw pretty quickly. Joel going to be looking to get a par. Should be able to scramble from there.
Oh. It was looking so good there, and just going to kick out right. Joel just giving it a bid, but more or less pitching it up to make sure he gets his 4. Oof.
And Dan trying to give it a nice eagle bid. Have a nice tap-in birdie, though. Going to get him to under par for the round.
Nathan, on a hole like this, are you throwing driver that has the distance to get there, or are you throwing like a controlled shot and trying to get halfway down the fairway? What would be your game plan for a hole like this?
It probably depends on the wind. In the past, I know I've thrown Wraith and Leopard. Leopard usually to... If I hit it right, I could still get it up there into circle 2 and have a putt. Wraith is for if I feel like I really want an eagle.
I hear you there. I'm going with that medium stability fairway to try and just see what happens.
Not a bad choice. We'll see you after a short break.
Hi, I'm Innova Team Captain Nate Sexton. Welcome to our instructional disc golf series.
And quick shout out to Dylan Sapala and Will Deering for getting the eagle on that hole, just the only 2 on the day. Hole 5, 349-foot par 3. We've got a shorter pin than we did last year. And that is a pretty good shot from Isaac. He gets up and around that corner. I think you're going to see, again, like the last hole, this forehand flex a lot more than you're going to see the backhand that Isaac threw. But he's so skilled at that backhand. He just seems to get in the circle every hole.
Wow, I never even thought about the forehand flex really on this one. It's an interesting line. I was throwing backhand mid-ranges mainly. But I like that idea a lot. I had a hard time hitting that gap properly with the right hyzer flip. It was always hitting that center tree.
Yeah, I think that's why those players bring in that forehand flex, so they can look at it the whole time And it really can let you release on the angle that you want the disc to fly. As Dan able to take advantage on that one, back-to-back birdies.
I feel like hole 5 is a pretty good one to get. Did it play pretty close to par?
It was actually a little below par, 2.67.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a good amount of players got the birdie, 21. Luke, one of those numbers.
It's a good putt from Luke. Get
And
him back to even.
Sorry, I have to cut you off. I just noticed Isaac has that quiet turkey on us.
Oh, yeah. He's quiet like that. And he's set up for another one here.
Oh, yeah. 4 in a row.
What do you call 4 in a row?
4 in a row.
This
I
guy,
don't have a good name
this
for
guy
it yet.
mentioned one time that he calls it a forky because you just got your turkey and now you're ready to eat. So
A forky. I like it. Not bad.
all right, we're here at hole number 6. It's 349. Players are going to want to shoot a little bit of a left to right moving shot off the tee so that way you can get down there. This is another one of those holes that you really just want to try and get good distance and not take a bogey.
And that is not good distance and probably looking like a bogey.
Yeah, this one's another one of those tough gaps. I feel like this course has a lot of the holes where the gap is, 100 to 150 feet off the tee pad that you have to hit, and they're not very wide.
Yeah, I think this course does a good job of making you adjust your form rather than just adjust your nose angle. This isn't a hole that you can throw a hyzer flip on and have the room to do it. So if you're used to doing that, you have to do something different. Bring your arm up higher, stand up a little straighter, excuse me, so you can throw that flex shot. So I think a lot of the holes out here make you really pay attention to how you throw the disc. Gained a lot of distance from where he was at, but gonna have a long par look. Nice upshot there.
Luke getting a little sidearm up there inside the circle as well.
And this hole definitely averaged over par.
Yeah, I can easily believe that. Oh, Isaac giving it a good bit out of the woods.
3.37 with only 2 birdies on the day. Oh, man. Look at one of these birdies sitting right next to me.
Yep. That's funny because those 2 birdies were both on my card then. Jake and I both got it on my card.
Yeah, Jake Mon, the only other birdie. How'd you guys do it?
I was in the little gully. I threw a PD that I threw on Annie out of the hand that just came back. And Jake threw basically the same line but hit a tree and was a little short. He probably made like a 55-footer.
55-footer for just the second birdie of the day. Showing you that card energy is a real thing. Moving into hole 7. 491 foot. Another short par 4. But this one you're not really going to be able to reach unless you throw just a fantastic overstable flex shot. Has to be the most overstable disc in your bag because it's an early turn, and then the second part of the fairway is the longer part. He has pushed this much too straight.
Yeah, I've seen people get up there with the backhand, but playing this hole for 3 and the easier birdie I think is a smarter play.
This is inside line from Dan. Didn't quite work out, but I'm sure that's not what he was trying to do. This has stood up a little straight also.
And so I want to mention the rain has started for this group.
This is unforecasted.
Unforecasted rain. Nobody was prepared for rain today. Most of the time when it's going to rain like mid-round, you see probably 75% of the people with umbrellas, rain gear, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I didn't see really anybody out there with an umbrella today.
Yeah, it was not supposed to happen. Just kind of a pop-up storm. So we'll see what it brings. Luke Samson, a nice forehand up and around the corner.
There's so many tricky spots you can get in on this course. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, not much you can really do from where Dan was at over there. Nice birdie there from Joel. This is going to be one of the easier holes on the course. Averaging it at 3.7 today. I thought it would be a little bit lower than that.
I would have thought so too, to be honest.
Well, I guess there's a reason that it is not quite a bit lower. Dan carding the double bogey on that one, struggling out of the woods.
Yeah, that's tough. Once you get off these fairways, if you don't get back into them immediately, it's going to be a struggle. There was one hole today that I had to like basically pitch directly sideways just to get out of the woods and then continue back down the hole. But here we are at hole number 8, 340 feet, par 3. It's relatively straight with a little bend here. You can throw kind of a flex shot that just barely flexes and then kind of fades back at the end, or you can throw the inside line that's more of a flip up shot.
And you can even hear the rain coming down now. It looks pretty thick through those trees. Isaac's still getting a good shot off though, and maybe a bit of a slip there from Joel.
Yeah, as you can see, Luke even hiding his disc right before he's about to throw to keep it as dry as possible.
Yeah, definitely a slip there. Maybe in the hand and on the tee.
Yeah, this course is a little sandy and muddy, so the tee pads were getting pretty slick throughout the our back 9 and their last 13 or so holes.
So nice up from Dan there, but leaves it a little bit short. Gonna have a long circle 2 look, trying to save his par. And Luke in that thick stuff over on the right. See if he's able to get his way all the way to the pin. Yeah, not quite the stand-up he was looking for.
Joel giving a bid for his par. This complex itself is pretty sweet. It's got quite the amount of other activities as well.
Yeah, Socastee Recreational Park. You've got a bunch of soccer fields. There's some softball fields. Dan Hastings.
What a great par putt.
What a great par putt. Right after a struggle hole, he's able to compose himself for the circle 2 look and get that par in there. But there's also an RC car park out here, and there's a big race this weekend.
Yeah, there was a tournament going on when we were there.
So as you've watched our card struggle down the fairway here on hole 8, 9 players took the birdie. 1 player carded the ace. A hole-in-one for Noah Five-Ash. Shout out there. What a hole to get an ace on.
Yeah, congratulations. This is a good one to get an ace on. I'm curious. What do you think? Probably the turnover and then fade back.
I think so, on that outside gap. Maybe let it drift a little right, fade back.
Here we are at hole 9. This hole is very tricky as it curves right and then curves back left. It is only 260 feet, but a very hard hole.
And Isaac had the right idea there, but just a little bit late release. That is about the angle you need, though. It's a very strange... See, I don't know if this is drifted quite far enough right, so it does get caught up there on the left side.
The shot that I saw worked best during practice was like a putter mid-roller.
Pretty perfect.
Joel with the right idea. Doesn't get the fade back that he's looking for, but does get a kickback. And this is a play for a 3 right here. There's no way to reach it with that. He is perfectly content with where his disc's at.
Yeah, and after what I did on this hole, I'd be content with that too.
I know that because that's kind of my play, being a left-handed backhand. I just kind of make 0-3 it, try to skip to the middle.
Smart play. Was there many birdies on this one?
Not many. Just 6, which is more than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, those are 6 good birdies right there. Joel is not impressed with his abilities there on that putt.
As Luke's par play works out well for him. Going to card that par after the double bogey on the last hole, though. Going to need to string a few of those birdies together to get back into this.
And I feel like the back 9 here is tougher than the front 9. Both scoreable, but the holes on the back 9 are a little trickier as they are longer, but just as wooded, so you're throwing a higher speed disc a lot of times.
Yeah, I agree there. More technical shots on the back, but you start getting into a few more par 4s and 5s. Is Isaac able to get away with the par also? Joel going to card the lone bogey here on the card. Maybe not. Guess he will card the par. Anyway, here we are, front 9. Lots of bogeys going on lead card. Gonna have to pick it up on the back 9.
Yeah, tough day here for our card getting off the tee box, it looked like. And hopefully they can change that around to the back as we've got people charging from cards behind them.
Yeah, Dylan Sepala, Michael Johansson coming from way back.
I'm excited for this back 9.
Yeah, gonna be fun to watch. More technical placement shots, adding some more distance as well, though. We'll see what the rain brings, as it could continue, could not. We don't know what's gonna happen.
As always, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the back 9.
We'll see you guys out there.